You're listening to Open for Discussion, hosted by Candice and Emilee. Your mom might have told you that certain topics were not open for discussion, but for these two millennial moms, no topic is off the table. Everything is open for discussion.
What is this episode about?
This is the last episode of our first season, so I guess we could do a recap. First off, how's your summer going?
It's going okay. I mean, actually, no, it's been pretty bad. It started off bad, it got worse, and now it's getting better. I'm getting things in order. I feel more organized. I feel a lot less out of control on things.
Would frazzle be the word?
Yeah. I feel less frazzled, and I feel like I'm going in the right direction.
That's a great way to describe it. I'm going in the right direction. I think that's great.
Yeah, I started a new business.
How is that going?
It's going really well.
Awesome. So proud of you.
I've officially signed 2 clients.
That's great.
I know. And I am working on a 3rd.
I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. I'm proud of myself.
You should be. That's awesome.
How's your summer?
My summer isn't bad. So from different point of views, as a new mom, and Elijah being 10 months old now, oh my God, I cried about it the other day. It's going really well. Like, he's doing swim class and we've been doing that. So Isaiah and I have been like alternating, like, who's going to go in the pool with him during each class. And we're both there. Like, we're very present, which I couldn't be happier about. He's having fun. He's laughing and giggling and squealing all over the place. And he's like, his personality is really starting to come out a lot this summer, as opposed to last summer. I was just super pregnant and I was over this whole freaking hot weather. I still am right now, but I don't know how I did it last summer. It was so bad. So on that note, like, family wise, it's going really well. My husband and I are doing really good. I just got a new job this summer, which is great. I love the company. I love being able, the flexibility to work part-time and also still be here for Elijah, which is very important to me. And that took a really long time to find. So I'm not taking that for granted at all. There's still some personal things that I'm dealing with that's just kind of hard right now. Some health issues with people in my family and also my own mental health. So we have really great days, and other days it's like we may not be, thriving, but we're not going backwards. We're just kind of coasting along. And it's not so much survival mode anymore as like a new mom, which I really appreciate. But looking back, I wish I could have enjoyed a little bit more of what was when he was so little.
I think that's so common. I honestly don't know a single parent who doesn't feel like the first few months of their kid's life were like a flash in the pan and that they didn't get to enjoy it as much as they thought they would. You're not alone in that.
No, that is. And that's great. And I've actually reached out to my doula and asked, like, is there certain resources that you know of for postpartum, even if it's 10 months out? I'm like, should I be over this stuff? She's like, no, here. And she's like sent me all these resources to reach out or groups, which has been fantastic. So I'll be utilizing those a little bit more and just being more patient with myself. But to answer the question, yeah, it's been a good summer, but there's been some hard things. So it's just trying to hold on for the ride. So on that note, how are your kids?
They're okay. Oh, they're good. We got our official ADHD diagnoses this summer. So we are riding that high. And I'm really glad that we got that taken care of before the school year started, because we're getting like medication figured out and getting coping skills figured out before we get thrown into another school year. So I'm really pleased about that. The medication is making a world of difference. I don't know how to explain it other than they seem more like themselves.
As a mom,
Like, I'm able to see their personalities and see the ways that they are like little humans with their own interests and things that they, they're like their own little people instead of just a big ball of ADHD.
I feel like with myself having ADHD, so I don't want to speak for your kids or even you, but I think being on medication for myself, it just kind of quiets every other thing that goes through my head. So it just kind of makes me, I won't say slow down, but it helps to the point where it's like I'm more present, like right here, and everything else that I have to deal with later on with like the anxiety and all that other stuff, it's like, all right, well, that can take a back seat for now. So I noticed for myself, even in being out with friends or even just like with my husband, I've noticed a huge difference. So as a mom seeing that, because your kids, you can't explain it. You just know your child. You just know. Cannot explain that, but there's just like this instinctual thing. I know you. I made you. Our caregivers, 2 kids. Like, that kid. or that person, whoever you're caring for, because you spend so much time, so when you see them in a better light because they're getting the support that they need, like you said, it's life-changing, especially for you as that guardian, that parent.
It's like getting to know your kids and getting to enjoy your kids as opposed to just constantly being on your kids for various things that it's almost like they don't have control over it because the ADHD is like such a barrier. Otherwise, they did tennis
Yeah.
this summer and Zeke's been doing soccer. We're not really doing anything else for the rest of the summer. Like my in-laws were in town at the beginning of the summer, so that was like the family thing, and the rest of the summer is just sort of chilling.
I like that. It just seems like this summer came in like on this huge wave, and it's like all the things. And now it's like, okay, we just need to unplug and relax for 2 seconds because I need this before the school starts up. And
Yes, we're not doing anything for the month of August.
good.
Nothing.
I think that's great.
I want to go to the beach, and that's it. I'm such a beach bum. Catch me in 50 years being one of those leathery old ladies.
Haven't gone yet. I haven't taken Elijah yet.
I remember taking my kids to the beach when they were little.
We might go. I don't know. Maybe around October when there's like nobody there. That's my favorite. It's still warm in October, so whatever.
I like to go in September. You can still like lay out, but everyone's in school, so there's no people. The sheer volume of people at the shore in the summer can be overwhelming. That's like the one time where I don't care how many people there are. Everywhere else, I'm like, ooh, there's too many people here.
Yeah, because it's outside though, and you can like move away easily or like.
No, but even like we were in New York this past weekend, we went to a concert at the Woodstock grounds. And it was all outdoors. It was gorgeous. It was all outdoors. And there were so many people. And I was like pretty anxious. I didn't expect to be anxious because it was outside and because it was such a big open space. But like there were a lot of people and I was pretty anxious.
Also too, like I feel like your adrenaline also for going to a concert to see somebody that you really enjoy. You're all hyped up. There's no kids. It's like you have freedom, not that kids tie you down or anything like that. But I'm just like, it's just you and your partner. And you're like, what do we do with all of this? So for me, I won't say it was just, oh my God, there's so many people. Yes, but I think it just added the icing on top of the cake of like all of the other things going on for that trip. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
No, you're probably right. What, son?
And there were millions of rupees just from.
You must have sold a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm recording the podcast right now, so we can finish talking about that later, okay? This video game.
You know what though? Going off on a small tangent, I think you handle that really well when it comes to kids.
Interruptions?
Yeah, you do. Because if you think about it, when we were growing up, were we not supposed to be quiet? So I think you do great with that because it's an all podcast, millennial moms. We have a lot on our mind, but we also have kids.
We have a lot on our mind. We have a lot in our houses. We have a lot going on. We just have a lot.
Constantly. 2 dogs, 2 cats, a 10-month-old. You have 3 cats?
I have 2 cats and a dog, 2 human children,
And a husband.
and a husband. He's at work right now. He does not work from home. He works an hour and a half away.
It's a lot, but it's okay. Things will get better.
It's not going to be forever because he's always working on finding something closer to home. So
Mine's working out in the driveway right now. I don't know, his motorcycle boots or something. I don't know. He's actually working from home today.
working.
Yeah, working.
In
He's
serious
like,
air
I
quotes.
went on a call at 10. He had like a meeting or something. He's like, I was there. I presented. I'm like,
That's all it takes. You just have to show up to one meeting. I want that job. Can I have that job?
you need a security clearance and some type of IT background.
I don't have the IT background, and honestly, if they do drug testing for a security clearance, your girl's not gonna pass.
I don't think they do that anymore in this state.
Oh, good. Okay.
But to be honest with you, whatever. You know how many other things people have in their systems? That's a whole other tangent.
Imagine if they regulated caffeine the way they regulate other drugs.
There's no way. Do you know how many millennial women or just millennials in general would not thrive without their iced coffee?
We would simply never get jobs because we would fail every drug test.
Exactly. It just wouldn't work.
You'll never work in this town again.
So my next question, what are you currently reading?
Sadly, nothing.
That's okay.
So part of the chaos that we had at the beginning of the summer was financial chaos. So I had to cancel my Kindle Unlimited subscription, and obviously am not buying books at the moment. So my Kindle is back on the shelf for a while. I do have a couple of, I turned away from the microphone to look at my bookshelf. I do have a couple of like books that I haven't finished yet. I have Jenna Kutcher's book, How Are You Really? Which I started reading and then got sucked into ACOTAR and put this down and never finished it because
ACOTAR, hello.
ACOTAR. I'm going to finish that. What are you reading?
That's a good question. I actually went to the library because I wanted a physical book and don't want to keep buying and spending more money that I really just could be putting towards other things. So I'm reading The Nanny.
The Nanny, like Fran Drescher, The Nanny?
No, The Nanny by Lana Ferguson. It's a really cute, kind of slow pace romance, kind of, or maybe it's just not moving as quickly as I wanted to. I'm in the middle and they're finally like, oh, okay, things are getting a little right where I want it to be. It's cute. I like it. It's about this girl who becomes a nanny for this chef, and she also used to do OnlyFans, and somehow their paths cross from prior. I mean, so I'll just leave it at that. But it's getting good. I like it.
That looks fun.
It is. It's a fun read. And that's kind of what I needed for right now. What else have I been reading? I really want to finish Everything is Figure Outable.
Ooh, Marie Forleo. I loved that book. That one I actually got from the library, so I don't have it anymore.
Did you finish it?
Yeah, I finished it.
I got through parts of it and then I put it down and now I'm just like, okay, now I'm really going to get back into that because everything is figure outable. And if it's not, then I can't say you didn't try. That's my philosophy on it. But I saw like an interview of her or something on YouTube a while back and I was like, all right, I wanted to read that book. And I did get it from the library. And then, I don't know, I took it back and then pregnancy happened and then all this other stuff. So I was like, I'm just going to buy it off of thrift books.
You know what? I have a book for you.
I love that. What book is it?
It's called Unfiltered, and actually I went to high school with her. She was Rachel Bell when we were in high school, but she's Rachel Peterson now. It's called Unfiltered, Proven Strategies to Start and Grow Your Business by Not Following the Rules. She started a business, but what I love about her, it's called Unfiltered because she is like, if you look at the thing, you can see her post-baby belly.
Yes.
There. And that's like her whole thing. I'm balancing motherhood and owning my own business. I'm balancing these things and I'm not going to filter myself in either realm. Like I'm not going to filter myself as a mother to be more palatable in my business. And I'm not going to filter myself as a businesswoman in order to seem more motherly. You know, I love that about her. And I actually accidentally got 2 copies. I got the paperback and the hardback copy. So I have a copy for you.
I get a book.
I'm not going to lie. The colors on the paperback are so pretty. I might give you the hardback.
It's a free book. I'm not going to be upset.
What I like about it also is it's not just, so you think like reading the subtitle that it's just for like people who are starting a business or people who own their own business, but it's not. It's also about like that balance. So like about balancing motherhood and work basically, or about balancing different areas of your life. But it's also just got some great nuggets in there about life in general.
Love that. I can always use more books like that. Have you ever heard of Rachel Hollis?
Yes. The Girl Wash Your Face girl.
Girl Stop Apologizing. And then her third book was I Didn't See That Coming. And I started reading Didn't See That Coming right as Elijah was in the NICU, literally days after I had him. And I was like, I cannot function. How do I self-regulate? How do I do these things? So I found the book randomly on my bookshelf when I went down to the hospital to go visit him. And this was at the time I wasn't able to stay because I couldn't drive. So I just took the book with me and stayed as long as I could. So when he was napping on me or after we were done feeding, I had a book near me to kind of help center me because that's my stress reliever, I guess. That's my support. Our books. I didn't finish that one, but I would like to really go back to that. She did that one in 2020 when she was going through her divorce. There's some things like she's not everybody's cup of tea. Like I understand that. There's some points from her older platforms and things that she was on I really gravitate towards. And some of the new stuff, she's a little too hippie for me now, but I'm really happy for her and all that. Like where she's just like more free flowing and just more, I feel like she's really found herself, which is great. But also she has all these kids and they are older. So it's a little bit easier for her. She's not as in survival mode as she was when they were so much younger. So those are other business books that I've been interested in.
I had a list of books that when I was first starting to think about starting my business, I was reading these. Where did I put that list actually?
Yeah, wherever you find them, let me know because I'll read them. That would be really helpful. Because actually, you inspired me to start a business too. You wanna know? You wanna know about it?
Yeah, I do.
So, fun fact: I am ordained.
Okay.
And I did this a couple years ago, probably like 3 years ago, for my cousin and her partner. They wanted to get married and they didn't want anything big. And they were like, hey, we'll pay for this. So I just applied for it. Yeah, I think I just had to pay for shipping or something and they send it out to you. And yeah, they give you like a little booklet on how different ceremonies and everything, the organized ones, the not so organized. So it's nice. They have like a whole podcast and YouTube videos on it. So it was cool. So my thing is, so since I'm ordained, why not, I don't know, marry people?
Yeah, become like a celebrant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elliot's ordained.
That's cool.
It was the same situation. He did it because some friends had asked him to do their wedding and he was like, well, sure. So now he's ordained and he's done a few weddings.
Oh, that's cool. I've only done one, which was just for my cousin and her husband. So yeah, it was special for me to be there for them and to be able to do that. But now I'm like, I have this. And I remember somebody saying, like on some YouTube or whatever, she was like, utilize what product or what service you can do. And I'm like, you have to go back to school for everything. I'm like, well, I don't have to go back to school for this. I don't have to sit here and go through YouTube University to figure out how to work Canva or whatever.
I found the list.
Okay, what's your list?
One of them was Unfiltered, Rachel Peterson, Unfiltered. Marie Forleo, Everything is Figure Outable. And the third one is Claim Your Confidence by Lydia Fennett. And she is a charity auctioneer. And so she has this great story. Like her story is amazing, how she came to enter the charity auctioning world and moved up in it, and now she's like the top charity auctioneer in the world. So that book was great. I got that one at the library, so I don't have that one. I can't like show it. The other one, this one is Rich as Fuck by Amanda Francis, and this is very woo-woo. It's very much like you're manifesting your best life or whatever. Granted, I will say that a lot of these women that write these books come from a place of privilege to begin with. I take what I think is valuable for me and for my journey, and I leave the rest. Not everything in this book is going to work for me because I simply don't have access to everything that she had access to. But I take what works for me from this book, and the rest is just fun little side story. And then the fifth one is Jen Sincero, You're a Badass at Making Money. If you've never read this is a good like empowerment, how to stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life. And it's like very mindset based. And this one is like the same thing, but specific to finances. There's a little bit of woo woo in here, but it's like money mindset, growth mindset, business acumen, feminine empowerment.
We love all those things.
That was my 5 books for introverts who want to start a business. That was the blog post that those came from. So
which one helped you the most, or which one really stuck with you the most?
Probably Everything is Figure Outable. That one really had the most in it that I felt was immediately applicable to my life because it was so much about mindset. It wasn't like take $1,000 and put it in a high yield savings account. Because like I don't have $1,000 to put in a high yield savings account. It was very much like you want this thing, you want to go for it, you're not sure how. Just so you know, everything is figure outable. There is a way. Here's how you can think creatively, think outside the box, leverage connections, even if you don't think you can. All of it has absolutely turned out to be true for me. I made a connection, then I made a connection from that connection, and so on and so forth until I was able to like actually launch a business, and now I have clients, and that's what it took. It was time and absolutely effort. And yes, there was a little bit of financial costs involved because what I am learning now is the saying, you got to spend money to make money is absolutely true.
It is. It is.
And unfortunately, it's absolutely true because if you don't have money to invest.
I know. And there's money right now. It's like, what are you talking about? Where's this coming from? Like,
where is the money coming from? The other thing that I learned from these books, especially I would say the Lydia Fennett book, Claim Your Confidence. One thing I learned from that book is that everyone is human.
mm-hmm.
Like these people that you see on Instagram that have thousands of followers that are making thousands of dollars a month that seem like this unreachable pinnacle of success. It's a human. behind that. And oftentimes they're really nice people who want other people to experience success. And that's why they're talking about it on the internet. This coach that I started working with, she DM'd me out of the blue one day and said, "Hey, I noticed that you're like a new VA, and I was wondering if I can ask you some questions about your business and like your goals." And she was helping me for free. Like there was absolutely no obligation on my part to like sign up for her coaching services. She was like helping me figure out who is my ideal client? How much should I be charging? What kind of social media presence should I be curating at this point? She helped me with all of those things before I ever asked about her services. She genuinely wants to see people succeed. That helped me a lot because it made it okay for me to ask people for help. It made it okay for me to get in the DMs and be like, "Can I ask you some questions about your business?"
It's kind of like a snowball effect. Somebody started, and then you're taking it, and then that's helping you grow. And I'm sure you'll probably inspire somebody else to do that.
And if someone gets in my DMs and asks me for help, 100% I'm going to help them with no obligation or expectation because that was what was given to me.
Mm.
And so it's important that I pay that forward. And I think more people are like that than we give people credit for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there was so much fear and sort of like these people are unreachable, like this level is unreachable to me that I didn't even try. But what I'm learning is that the worst they can say is no.
Or not even answer you.
If I look through my Instagram DMs, there's probably 150 conversations in there, and probably 90 of them, nobody responded to me. The 60 that did, like none of them were mean. None of them were dismissive of me. They were all genuine in their responses. And probably 20 of them, of those 150, 20 of them became really fruitful, wonderful conversations. A handful of them have now become people I consider friends over the course of 6 weeks and who I am now genuinely rooting for in their business and who are rooting for me in mine. And we are helping each other out. And it's been this revelation for me of, hey, we're all just people and we're trying to make money and we're trying to make a name for ourselves. We're trying to set our children up for success. We're trying to figure out work-life balance. We're trying to have a business in which we serve other people, but also serve ourselves and provide for ourselves. That's all of us. We're all just doing that. And there's plenty of business to go around. It's not like we're in competition. That's another thing I've learned because I have been doing a shit ton of market research on my ideal clients. And that has shown me that there is an unlimited supply of clients for me. Thousands and thousands of people, way more people than I could ever actually sign on as clients. And so all I need is like 5 of those people. There's going to be 5. There's plenty to go around.
I love that.
Anyway, I went off on a huge long tangent there.
No, we're talking about business and strategies that you've come up with and what you're putting out there. I will say, because you inspired me, we met up for wine and had a quick conversation for a little bit just to catch up. You were like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this, and this is how many DMs I'm like trying to send a day." And I was like, "All right, well, what can I start doing? What can I do?" And then I met up with an old coworker of mine who I've become really close with, and her husband always like do these big goals. So like she said that she wanted to put up like this giant chalkboard on her wall, and she's like, "I'm not even just going to put up a chalkboard." She's like, "I'm just going to use chalkboard paint," and she's going to write out the next 5 years of her goals. Some of it's travel, some of it's like, I don't know, investments or whatever. But I was like, okay, well, clearly 2 different people who've never met each other, these ideas. And I just feel like it hit me. And I was like, all right, well, I want goals. I thrive on goals. I want to do things. I'm not just a mom. Because I feel like you lose that, or at least me. I won't say like I lost me, but I feel like trying to wrap my head around, okay, so I'm not just Candice. I'm not just somebody's wife or daughter. Like now I'm a mom. Now I have to keep this human alive and help them thrive. But it's like they learn from watching you. So it's like, all right, well, what do I have? What am I showing? What do I have to show for? I mean, I do have a lot to show for. I've worked really hard for a lot of things. But
You have.
More of what else can I do? What else can I show my son? Because I'm a kick-ass mom.
You are.
I am.
One of the people I've been talking to on Instagram had on her story the other day, the reason that she started her business was to show her children what was possible. Because she has 3 kids that she knows are always watching, and she wants them to know that you don't have to follow the prescribed like series of events that we consider adulthood. And that really resonated with me because I feel like I was so pigeonholed into that, where I felt like this is the correct way to do things. This is the correct order to do things in. And I never saw myself as a person who could start my own business. I never saw myself as a person who could be successful working for myself rather than having to have someone else telling me what to do. As it turns out, because of things like my ADHD and my neurodivergence, I actually do really well working for myself. I do really well setting my own structures and systems. And that has translated into me being able to build systems for other people that are customized to them and how their brain works, because I understand that not everybody's brain works the same way. So my ability to build those systems and build those structures and have and to implement them with people has been a real strength and a real asset to me in starting this business. And if you had told me 5 years ago that I would be doing this and that I would be finding success doing this, I would have been like, but who am I working for?
Yeah, because that's what it's ingrained. You have a boss, you have somebody who's supposed to be above you, because clearly you can't do that. You're a worker.
I'm an employee.
But I will say, like, listening to your story on where you were at and things that you were like, oh, I want to do this and I'm just going to do it. And I'm like, I can do that. I can set my mind to something and do it. Going, like you said, like going back 5 years ago, if you told me before I had Elijah, like before being pregnant, you told me like, oh, your pregnancy is going to be pretty good. You're going to do great. And then going through everything that I went through and still coming out on the other side of still being Candice, I wouldn't have believed you. And that's a whole story for like another time. But yeah. So now like going through all of that, and honestly, I give a lot of credit to my son because he made me a kick-ass mom. But he made me face a lot of things that I never thought I would have been able to do. So now I'm just like, you can't tell me anything.
Oh yeah, untouchable.
Yeah, right now, maybe I'm still flying that high from birth. I don't know. I hope every mom has that. I really do. You cannot tell me anything. My body is fantastic. Like I'm really starting to fall in love with myself and really trying to put the best foot forward, not only for Elijah, but for me. Like I'm allowed to hold space. I'm allowed to be here front and center. And I feel like before it was like, no, you have to take care of everyone. Like I'm the caregiver. I'm the employee. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be up there. I can't do that. And then I look at my husband and he's just like, I'm just going to do what I want to do. I love that mindset. But he doesn't do it where he's stepping on anybody's toes. He's not like that. He has a male perspective of, I want something, I'm going to go do it. And it may not be like a straight line and there may be obstacles, but he's going to be like, all right, well, the end goal is still the same, even if I have to change how I'm getting there.
And he's not asking the world for permission in any way, where we feel like we have to ask the world for permission. But the thing is, we're never going to get permission from the world because we're moms.
You know what, though? I say right now, if you're a mom, you're a woman in general, if you need permission, this is it for you.
Here's your permission. Blanket permission. And you know what? Another thing that I've been thinking about is like the idea of failure. One thing that I learned when I was doing research before starting this business was that like some huge percentage of businesses fail in the first year. And I was like, okay, that could scare me, or that could completely take the stakes of failure away, because people fail in their businesses all the time. All the time. If I fail in my business, I'm just another human that's failed in their business. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. And most of those people who fail in their businesses get back up and start another one. They try again. So who's to say, like, if I fail in this, I won't just like get up and try again. It took the fear of failure to such a low priority for me. Like, no, I didn't need to ask for permission, because what I'm asking for is permission to try and maybe fail. I don't need permission to do that.
No, because I'm just going to do it.
I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say I didn't like discuss this with my husband and we didn't have long conversations about like the financial implications of me starting a business and what that was all going to look like. Of course, you want to like come to some kind of understanding with the people in your life who this is going to matter to in a very material way, because it's about putting food on the table. You know, it's like Those stakes are high.
Well, it's not like you're going to Atlantic City and just like, oh, I'm going to go gamble, see the slots, see if this will work this week.
Oh, it's not it's the product of research. It's the product of outreach, networking, so much work and effort and learning. It's not a gamble, even though sometimes it feels like a gamble, but what you're gambling on is yourself. And that's not a 50-50 gamble because you are 80 to 90% of that equation. And luck is another, 15-10%. The odds are in your favor. So even if you think of it as gambling on yourself, the odds are pretty good.
You know what that reminds me of? I was on TikTok and there's one of these guys that goes around interviewing people that have like fabulous cars. And I don't know what this woman had. It was a beautiful vehicle and I wish I remembered. But anyway, she was like decked out. She's very much boss woman. And he's like, can I ask you a couple questions? She's like, okay. And he's like, how did you become so successful? How did you do this? And then he kind of went more in depth of like the question of being, what did you do to make sure you got to where you're at? Like, what is the best advice somebody gave to you in business or whatever? And she's like, always bet on yourself. She's like, I'm my best investment. I'm my best product. She's like, me. So I take care of me and something that I want to do, I'm going to go do it. I'm not going to quote her, but she had said herself, she invests in herself. So, and then he had asked her, okay, well, what was the first year you made the most? She goes, this year. So 2024, she's like, we've already made $2.5 billion. And I'm sitting here like, all right, this woman is fabulous. I love her. Her whole vibe that she gives off, like, oh, you want to talk about business? All right, yeah, go ahead. I'll listen to you. Like, listen to me, because there's more men in business. There's more men that don't have that fear of failure because it's not ingrained into them to do it. So as a mom now, like, even though, yes, I'm raising a little boy, I want him to have this same idea, like, all right, well, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, whatever, you being a human being, you have the capability to go get what you want. Don't hurt anyone along the way, just keep pushing forward because who knows what can happen. And it's always that thing of failure in the back of your head, like, I don't know.
And that's like showing our children what's possible. Like, yes, I want success for myself, obviously. I want success to feel secure, to feel fulfilled, to feel like I'm doing something in the world. But I also want to show my children what's possible. And I want to leave them a legacy of possibility and opportunity. And that is, I forgot what I was going to say after that, but
I'd say like it's really important to you.
It's really important to me. So, okay, what's interesting is that the clients that I've signed so far are all women who are hitting that level where they're scaling up their businesses to the next level. And that's my job, is to help them grow and help them like move their businesses up to that next level. And both of these women that I have signed as clients are getting ready to start a family. Part of what they're doing here is automating a lot of their processes so that they can start having children, so that their businesses can continue and still be successful even as their lives are changing. And so that has been another motivator for me, knowing that what I'm doing is helping women establish that same legacy of success and legacy of opportunity for their families, because that is important to me as well. No, like setting other women up for success, setting other women up for the ability to have a family and have a business at the same time.
Instead of having a competition with, which I feel like is very cultural of us as women, to be like, well, her crown's a little crooked, just gonna take it and keep going.
Have you seen Blake Lively's posts about being a crown straightener?
No.
Oh my God. Okay. I saw it like 3 weeks ago, and then I saw it again this morning when I was scrolling Instagram. Blake Lively, you know who Blake Lively is.
I know who Blake Lively is, yes.
Okay. I was just making sure. It's a post that she put. It said that the one compliment that she has gotten that has meant the most to her is someone called her a crown straightener, someone who goes around straightening other women's crowns. And I was like, that's me. That's what I want to be. That's what I want to do. Whether that's like in business or whether that's just in my life, there's no such thing as competition for me. I'm not competing with other people. There is enough room for everyone. There are 8 billion people on this planet. There's enough room for all of us to be successful. Scarcity is a lie.
So I feel like there's the difference between you working for somebody else and helping support somebody else. There's 2 different things, because this is a conscious effort that you want to do and not having that competition of whatever the competition is. So yes, you are working for other people, but you're also your own boss.
And I'm very conscious about the way that I structure my contracts so that it's very clear and I can implement them more quickly than you can, because you are a coach and your zone of genius, your area of expertise is coaching. It's teaching. It's getting out there and building those client relationships. It is creating the content that's bringing people to your business. That is you. You are good at that. Let me do the things that I am good at. And together we're going to build this thing and scale it up so that you can help even more people. That's the way that I structure my contracts, so that that's very clear right from the beginning.
I love that. That's great. I wish more business was like that.
So what I thought I wanted to do was be a VA for a while, move up into like online business management, and then move up into maybe VA coaching. And that seemed like a really good trajectory for me. It still feels like a really good option.
Yeah.
I'm now leaning more toward, what if I were to move more toward like a VA agency kind of model, where I was training new VAs and helping them structure their businesses in a holistic way, and in a way that's going to like mirror a more like holistic and maybe even like a feminine model of business.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Because that seems like it works so much better for me, rather than being in that like competitive masculine energy all the time. You could argue that like the systems and structures that I build are sort of in that masculine energy because they are more rigid. I'm doing that so that you can allow that feminine energy to like be directed. I think it works. It's a balance, and it works really well together if it's done well.
It will be.
Fingers crossed.
There's some, I forget who had told me this, and I'm sure there's a bunch of people online that have said this, but it's like if you put it out there as if it's already been done, like the way that you say it.
Oh, like manifesting it?
Yeah, is that manifesting? So yeah.
Okay, so it's so funny that you say that. Let me go on another tangent. The first client that I signed, I got in her DMs, like I saw something on her stories that just blew my mind. So I replied to her story and I said, hey, this is really meaningful to me. I really, appreciate what you had to say here. And then I just was like, how long have you been coaching? I would love to know more about your business and about what you're doing. She's a manifestation coach. That's her business, is like coaching other people on how to change their mindsets and open themselves up in a way that makes manifestation possible. It's very woo-woo, but what I really liked about her is that she blended kind of the scientific aspects of manifestation, like law of attraction type things, with that sort of more woo-woo energy. I really appreciated the way that she blended those things together. Her reply to me was, I set a manifestation yesterday for a VA. Is it you? And I was like, honestly, yes, like it is. It's me. And she was like, let's get on a call. Let's talk. And so we got on a call. We started talking. We really hit it off. We meshed really well together. And as part of our contract, I have access to her manifestation course now, and I have access to like her coaching. So we made that part of the contract, and I've learned so much from, I've only gotten like a third of the way through her course, but so much of it is shifting a mindset from I am grinding and working toward this because I don't have it yet, to I have it. I'm not seeing it yet. I have it and it's coming. It's very much a mindset shift. But the thing is, that takes away so much of the hustle energy out of what you're doing. And that alone lightens the load.
There's a thing Rachel Hollis did. It's called Start Today Journal. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
No.
So it's kind of the same premises. So like the first 5 things are what you're grateful for, is how you start off your day, which I love. So it has to be small and it doesn't have to be very detailed, but it's like something that made you feel good, something that you're grateful for. And then she goes into 10 goals, which equals 10 years of what you've already made happen, and writing them out. So she goes through this whole process in the beginning of like her journal. And you can just do this with any journal. She tells you online how to do it, so you don't have to buy it. But she was just like, what does the ideal you look like? What do you look like in 10 years? What do you have? How are you go into complete detail of how you want it to be, and then write them down. I don't remember all 10 of mine, but one of them was like loving myself, loving my body. Did I have to go through so much crap? I did. But do I love myself? Do I love my body? Do I feel much stronger and more in tune with who I am? Because she's done so much for me. She meaning my body. Yes. So I wrote that out. I didn't really know how that was going to happen, but it did. And then another part was having a family. And I forget specifically on how I put that out, but I got this beautiful little boy. My heart swells. Like, I know I'm like doing a whole mom moment right now, but he's gone through and done so many things like medically and all the things that I was told of he might not be able to do, or, there might be a delay. And this kid giggles, laughs, smiles, full mouth of teeth at 10 months old, eating foods. He crawls his own way. That's what he does. And he's silly, and he's sitting up, and he's saying words and all this stuff that they said he might not physically be able to do, he's doing. But what I'm saying is, I wrote things down and they've come to fruition. One of them was having a successful podcast. Well, here we are, honey.
We're doing it.
We are doing it. And most side note, most podcasts don't succeed past 6 episodes.
We've already done it.
That's what I'm saying. We're just going to keep going with it because I want a successful podcast. I wrote that back in 2020. It took 4 years, but here we are. I understand of what you're saying about, putting it out to the universe, saying it as if it's already happened.
And the other thing is having a successful podcast, right? Once you tell yourself that it's already happening, it's already in the works, the universe is working with you to bring this forward. It takes so much of the grind out of it. Even though you're still working hard to get there, you're not working hard because you're afraid it won't happen. You're working hard because you know it's going to happen. And so you're taking the steps that are necessary to get there. And whether or not you believe that the universe is working in your favor or whatever, I think the universe is neutral, inherently neutral. So with this podcast, you were manifesting this podcast 4 years ago, and we didn't even know each other 4 years ago. I didn't even live here 4 years ago. We met in the most random way. The universe was percolating this podcast, bringing us together, getting me that job, and making sure that you were a customer at that job, and then dropped the idea back into your mind at the right time when you realized that we could be a good fit together for a podcast. Those things all came together at the right time, and now here we are. It all just sort of bloop, Anyway,
no, that was good. So yeah, we've done a lot this summer. There's a lot that's happened in summer of 2024.
Time flies when you're living a life of chaos.
So what was your favorite episode that we recorded so far?
Ooh, what a good question. Let me see. Okay, I really liked our ADHD episode.
Same. It was a good first episode.
But I also really liked the AI episode.
That was a good one. My favorite episode was smut books, romance books.
Spicy?
Yeah, spicy.
The chili peppers?
Yes.
The chili peppers episode.
Yes, that was my favorite. Because I remember saying something about you're going to need a lot of milk.
That was so funny.
I couldn't that. I think that was one of my favorite things. We laughed so much during that episode.
That one was really fun to record.
That was. But I also, my second favorite was the first episode, the time I was diagnosed with ADHD or whatever, because I've actually applied a lot of what we talked about and stuff that I learned from you about that into my own life. And I'm like, this is actually superpower. It's not a ping against me. It's not oh, well, I don't know, there's something wrong with me. No, my brain is completely wired differently than the norm, if you will. And I'm just even more special.
It's just that the world was built for people with different brains.
All right. So for season 2, what are you hoping, I guess? What are some projections that you have?
I think we're just going to get more unhinged.
Probably. Yeah. I definitely want to do an episode with the husbands.
Yes.
I think that's definitely on there. But I want to do it like the drinking game.
Yes. When do you think we'll be back for season 2?
I really want to do September.
Yeah, I do too. I was going to say September.
Also, since this is our last episode for season 1, I'd love to hear everybody's great reviews on us.
Yes.
And what you guys are also hoping we'll talk about next season. And also, who knows, maybe we might go live on Instagram. That would be great. We'll catch you guys for season 2. This wraps up season 1.
It's been real, it's been fun, and it's been real fun.
All right, guys.
See you next time.
Bye.